right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. There might be a few more people joining. Thank you for being here today. I'm so grateful to be a part of Pineapple and be able to support everyone, and it's a true honor. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here as well. Regulation and grounding, and then I'll give you an introduction and we'll kind of move into our material. So if you would like, I want you to write down a number between 0 and 10, 10 being most distress or disturbance that you've ever felt, 0 being little to none. And I want you to choose the number that you're feeling in this moment. So maybe you had a long night last night, maybe you're having a busy day and you have some anxiety. Everybody's coming from different time zones. So it's 9 a.m. here, but I don't know what time it is where you are. But if you want to jot down a number or just think it in your head, whatever you're feeling in your body right now, level of distress. And then we're going to move into a little grounding practice. So I invite you to begin by just allowing your body to do any kind of organic stretch that may want to come through. Just waking up the body a little bit. Maybe it's a neck twist. And then you're allowing your body to just settle in the seat wherever you are. I like to close my eyes when I do a grounding practice, but you can choose to have your eyes open. We're just going to take a few moments here, noticing the body. And whenever I do a mind-body practice, I like to start with my feet. So I just notice my feet touching the floor. And sometimes I'll press my toes and my heels into the floor. So just noticing that I'm here in this moment with me. And just becoming aware of my body. And then if you'd like, turning your attention to your breath, just the natural rhythm of your breath, just as it is in this moment. Beginning to notice the inhale and the exhale. And sometimes when I'm doing this, if my mind wanders, I'll actually say to myself as I breathe in, as I breathe out, I notice that I'm breathing out. So you can use that phrase if that's helpful to you. And then if you'd like, envisioning a color that represents your breath in this moment. So if any color comes to mind of what color your breath might have, and if there's no color, that's okay as well. And if there is a color, just noticing that color. Breathing out that color. And maybe this morning there's a texture to your breath. I know it sounds a little silly, but for me, when I'm in a relaxed, calm body, my breath seems to be more smooth, like kind of an ocean wave. If I'm in an excited body or an anxious body, it feels more like sandpaper. So maybe checking in and noticing if your breath has a texture. This morning. Just taking a few more moments here. Again, we're just noticing the breath. This is mindful breathing. Whenever that feels complete to you, if your eyes are closed, slowly opening your eyes, taking your time. If there's any more stretching that wants to come through, maybe giving yourself permission to do that. And then returning your focus. Good morning, now we're ready. So that's just an example of a mind-body practice, because that's what we're talking about today. That one has a few elements. It has some movement, right? Just organic stretching. It has a mindfulness component where we're just noticing the breath as it is. And it also had some grounding elements of noticing the feet on the floor. So it's just a few minutes. It's a practice you can use throughout your day and between clients or on your lunch, on your body to connect. And that's what we're going to be talking about, is how we can heal through the mind-body connection. See if this works. Here's my boring intro. But what I want you to know about me really is the mind-body practice is what's been helpful in my own healing journey. It's what I offer to most of my clients, to all of my clients. I'm a social worker, and my primary specialty is trauma and substance abuse. Where I do a private practice. And when I first started therapy, I had been trained to do talk therapy, which is very common in the mental health field. And I found that I quickly felt burnout and exhausted, and I wasn't having a lot of success with my clients. I didn't feel like they were getting a lot of relief. So I went on a journey to kind of explore what else was available in healing. And what we know about stress and trauma is that it's stored in the body. And so I've gotten trained now in different modalities to include the body into treatment in my own journey and in work with others. And I found that to be really fulfilling work, because people get helpful in my own life. So that's kind of my specialty now. We call it somatic therapy, working with the body. There's many ways to do that: mindfulness, breath, movement, meditation, yoga. So I wanted to share some of those practices with you today. I'm also really passionate about hiking. I love being outside. I live in a tiny little town in Arizona called Pierce, Arizona. We have about 2,000 people here, but it's really beautiful. There's lots of mountains and lots of nature. And there's my private practice, Roots Rise. My contact is at the end of the PowerPoint, and this PowerPoint is available if you would like to review it. There's some resources in the end of the PowerPoint as well. But if you have any questions about mind-body practices or where to find more resources that are shared today, feel free to give me a call, and I can share some of those with you. All right, go ahead and get started. So here's some of our learning points. We're just going to go through some that into chronic stress, which can really cause poor health outcomes for the body. And then we're going to practice some of the tools. So we've done a little bit of mindfulness. We did a little bit of breath. We're going to do a little bit of movement. You don't need anything fancy. And it'll just be something you can do in your chair. And we're also going to do gratitude. So gratitude doesn't really involve the body, but the way that I like to think about gratitude is that it's an active practice that allows you to study. So I'm going to share some gratitude today too, because I think that's an incredible practice to add in. And I'm hoping what you take away is that these are some things you can add into your daily life as a morning practice, in between your workday, before you go to bed. Really, they can be done anywhere, and most of them are just a few minutes. So hopefully it's not something where you have to carve out a lot of time to do them. All right, so what is stress? We've all been under a great deal of stress through the pandemic, and then it's a natural response to real or perceived danger, right? So often we experience what's called perceived danger, meaning my life's not actually at risk, right? But I have a lot of demands from work, or I have demands from my kids, or financial stressors, and those things can cause the body to respond to stress as well. We can use stress for growth if it's managed properly, but if unmanaged, it can really store in the body and create inflammation and dis-ease. The physiological, which is why I'm offering some of these tools. Stress can affect us physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. And that's why I think it's a really important topic. So I want you to take a moment. You don't have to respond in the chat. I can see the chat, but it's hard to monitor while I'm talking. So I'll check it periodically. But if you want to take a moment and just think to yourself, how does my body tell me when I'm experiencing stress? What do I actually feel inside my body? What do I start to notice in myself? I know for me, I get a lot of jaw tension when I'm feeling I usually get more irritable or anxious if I'm feeling stressed. I'm usually quicker to an emotional reaction, right? For some people, it might be back pain or headaches. For others, it might be tearfulness. So just thinking about, how does my body actually tell me when I'm feeling stressed? And we're going to look at some of the ways that physical reactions could be, and this is not all inclusive, these are just some of the reactions. Everybody's body is different, but someone could experience difficulty breathing, maybe sweating. If you ever do public speaking, you start sweating. Feeling fatigued, an increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure. Hands and feet can get cold or clammy, muscle tension, right? And this is the body's way of telling us be a perceived threat. It doesn't have to be real danger. Most of us don't have real danger throughout our day, but many of us have perceived threats. Intimacy could be a perceived threat. Trying to set a boundary could be a perceived threat. And when the body's threat stress response kicks on, it releases up to 30 different stress hormones in the body. And if we're not moving those through the body throughout the day, we're not aware of our body's response, those stress hormones can build up and cause inflammation. And it is for those stress hormones to metabolize. So if we're constantly in a stress state and we're not able to move those through, it can really do a lot of damage to us. So to me, creating a mind-body practice is one of the most important things you can do for your health. Yeah, and it doesn't take a lot of time, right? You don't have to carve out a whole hour to go do a Zumba or do, an hour yoga class. These can just be little things throughout the day that you're offering to your body. Let's look at some of the emotional reactions that may occur. And again, remembering everybody's body is different, so everyone responds to stress differently, and everyone responds based on their own past learning experience. So if you've had a lot of painful past experiences in your life, and especially during your developmental years, you may be more prone to stress in your adult life versus someone who had a more nurturing environment where the caregivers were really present. So those would be more prone to stressors in our day-to-day life. Some of the emotional reactions we may see are being forgetful, crying, like just tearfulness out of nowhere that feels like it's coming out of nowhere, getting angry easily, having trouble concentrating, feeling numb. And with feeling numbness, some people get this overall just sense of calm in a crisis state or in a high stress environment. That's kind of the body just moving into a shutdown. Or that constant rumination over the stressor. So thinking about it over and over and over and over and over, which can impact sleep, right? And then finally, we have behavioral reactions, similar to emotional, but behavioral reactions can include the freeze response. This is when our body just kind of shuts down and it's hard to make decisions. This is where we see depression show up or difficulty taking action. So this is if stress is not addressed and it continues to build up, we'll engage or disconnected from the body. So a lot of people I work with who have chronic stress or a history of trauma, they have a hard time feeling their body or noticing their body. And that's why I work with a lot of these practices to do the mind-body connection. Isolation, it's been a big one since the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, and some people still experiencing the pandemic. But this inability to re-engage in life again, right? I'm seeing a lot of that with people, especially those of us who are doing same connections we may have used to have. Lashing out or anger, using substances, and substances can include anything, food, drugs, anything external, so sex, gaming, gambling, using something external to decrease the feelings of pain inside of us, right? And again, these are just some examples. There's plenty more examples of these, but. So what I like to, the metaphor I like to use when we're coming out of a car and we want to stop the exhaust from coming out, we don't necessarily go up to the car and wave the exhaust around or put our hand over the tailpipe, right? We simply turn off the car. So in a similar way, we can think of the body as the car and the behaviors that we see when someone is in a high stress state as the exhaust. We don't so much need to focus on the behavior. We simply need to help the person turn off their car, meaning calm their body. Once someone is able to calm their body, then the behavior will lessen. So these are from Susan Mecca, who's a PhD. She's worked 30 years in crisis settings. And these are kind of her tips for how we can manage during a crisis. Now, what we're talking about today is how to avoid getting to this point where we're in crisis by managing stressors throughout the day instead of letting them build up. But sometimes we have a crisis scenario that we couldn't have anticipated or we couldn't avoid. And here are some of her tools for managing in a crisis, and I like that they line up with the word crisis there. To be able to calm ourselves in a crisis, we had to have practiced those tools before in our life. So if the very first time that I ever try one of my tools is in a crisis, it's probably not going to work. That's why I really encourage a daily practice of mind body. Are having resources and a support network. Pineapple is amazing. There's lots of support. There's those weekly support groups that are incredible. So everyone here has lots of options for support if you don't have social supports in your support. And support system can also include having a therapist or a life coach or a 12-step meeting that you like to attend. Intention, so having a daily intention for your day. Having a game plan for stress management, that's what we're working on here. Intuition, trusting your natural state of resilience. I love this one. What we know is that the body is designed to heal. It will move towards healing if we allow it to. The body will, allowing space for your body to ask for what it needs. If you noticed this morning when I said if there's any organic stretch or anything your body wants to do, just allowing for that, it's because the body knows, right? When the mind gets out of the way, the body will do what it needs to do to move towards healing. So trusting that, activating your own inner healing intelligence. And then the S is for self-care. And a lot of what we're doing today is part of self-care. Yep. About stress management is used to effectively combat stress. It's used to activate your body's natural response for relaxation. And there's so many ways to do it. There's as many ways. Sorry, my cat's meowing over here. There's as many ways to do it as there are people on the planet. So this is about finding tools that work for you and finding a way to create relaxation that feels good for your body. Everybody's body is going to be different. So whatever I offer today, and then there's additional resources added, but finding something that works for you. Not everybody likes yoga, not everybody likes breath, not everybody likes boxing. You know, there's so many ways to do this. There's lots of online tools now, right? You can pretty much get anything you need on YouTube now or through these apps. So any of the tools I offer, there are ways to find them for free. And I've got lots of options to find these tools for free if you want to practice. There's no one size fits all. So it's about adapting it to your body. Right? When I first started doing breath work for a few years, I thought it was so stupid. I really couldn't understand what it was doing for me. But then I came back to it and found that today it really works for me. At that time in my life when it was introduced, I thought it was weird. So I did hot yoga instead. Now I've learned some different techniques that work better for me, but it's about finding what is right for your lifestyle. Okay, so we're going to talk about some different examples. Mindfulness and grounding are great tools for mind body practice. I gave you a little hint of that this morning, and we'll Music, massage, journaling, laughter, dance. These are all really great tools. Laughter is one of our greatest medicines. Progressive muscle relaxation. You can find these online. They're where you clench each part of the body and hold and then release. These have been proven to be really effective for stress management and relaxation. The reason these are so helpful is because we know when the body's stressed, it tenses. And so these can be really helpful for the body. We also have gratitude practices. We'll do that today. Meditation and visualization. Again, there's just so many of these on apps and online available to you as well. Deep breathing and breath awareness. We did a little bit of the breath awareness in the beginning, right? I'm going to move the cat. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Life throws us curveballs, so can regulate my body. I apologize. Movement, stretching, and or yoga, right? These are going to be really important options as well, so I'll share those with you too. We'll start with our first category. This is mindfulness. I know we hear about this word all the time in our it's kind of a buzzword now, but what does it actually mean? What is mindfulness? It's the practice of purposely focusing your attention in the present moment. So we're focusing our awareness and we're doing it without judgment. This is really, really the key, right? What I love about mindfulness is it's one of the few places in life where there's no end goal. There's no point of going anywhere. You're not trying to achieve something. You're literally just being. And for me, that's really refreshing because most of the other things in our culture are about doing, they're about achieving. No end goal here. You're just allowing yourself to notice what's in your environment in the present moment or what's in your body in the present moment. So I find that really helpful. Often when we're focused on future worries or things that could happen, we feel the experience of anxiety. When we're focused on things that happened in the past, we may experience depression. But when we allow ourselves to be present fully in the moment that we're having, we really get a relaxed, calm body. This has a lot of research around it now. This is an ancient wisdom tradition. Mindfulness comes from a Buddhist tradition, but we really see it in all faiths. All faiths have a mindfulness practice of some sort. So it really predates religion. And this has been around for thousands of years, but now the West has provided some scientific research of why this is helpful to us and able to prove what many cultures have known for a long time. So I want to credit the ancient wisdom that comes to us from this. And the benefits that the research has found: greater ability to savor life and be present in each moment, to experience joy as it occurs and not worry about what's coming next. Increased present moment awareness. There's been studies that show the brain chemistry, the neuroplasticity of the brain actually changes with mindfulness. Stress relief, right? Improved physical and mental health, an enhanced sense of resiliency, so being able to bounce back after stressful events. Use the line management, and then improve symptoms of physical illness as well, right? So lots of benefits. These are just a few that I found, but there's plenty more in the research. So how do you actually do it? There's many different ways. You can get a Calm app. There's lots of free apps to do mindfulness. You can Google and get YouTube videos, but here's some ideas as well. Sitting quietly and just noticing your breath, right? We did that today. It just took a few minutes. You could do that for 5 minutes. Okay, texture. Noticing body sensations, like sitting quietly and see if you can notice the itch, and then see if you can just be present with it without scratching it. It's kind of a fun one. I'm not great at that one. You can do a mindful walk. So this is where you use your senses and you go for a walk and you ask yourself, what do I smell? What do I see? What can I hear? So you could do a little walk around and do that. a few more. Noticing an emotion, see if you can just accept the emotion without putting a judgment on whether it's good or bad or right or wrong. We use mindfulness in treatment for addiction. So being able to notice the craving without labeling it or judging it, and then see if we can allow it to pass like a wave. There's mindful dancing, which is really fun. And that's kind of just being present, letting your body do whatever you want it, whatever it wants to do, can be a great tool. Okay, I think we will try one mindfulness one. So feel free to join. You can also just watch if you're not interested in practicing right now, or if it's early where you are and you're just not feeling it yet. This is one I've learned in my psychedelic training. I've done psychedelic assisted psychotherapy training, and this is one that we use in that space. So what we do is we place a hand over the heart and a hand over the belly. I know you can't see my belly. Or you could do both hands over the heart, or you could do no hands and just let your hands in your lap. And then what we're going to do is use the phrase, I am here now. So we breathe in with the I, exhale, am. In with the here, exhale, now. So I'll lead us through one out loud, and then the last two you can do at your own pace with your own voice in your mind. Again, you don't have to join, it's absolutely optional. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Begin now, breathing in. Exhale. Am, inhale. Here, exhale. Now. Two more at your own pace. Sing the mantra to guide you. If you notice any judgments arise, like this is stupid or I'm not doing it right, just seeing if you can allow those to pass like clouds in the sky. Whenever that feels complete, if your eyes are closed, slowly open, taking your time to attune back to the space you're in. So that's an example of a mindfulness practice. We're using the mantra and the breath, I am here now, to bring us into that present moment. So that's what I like to do. All right, let's talk about movement. Movement is great for stress relief. There's so many different ways to do movement. You might already have your own movement practice. But for well-being, we often experience activation in the body, and then we just kind of move through our day because we've got stuff to do, we've got another client, or we've got kids, or we've got our partner, or whatever we need to do, and we've got this energy that's just kind of being shoved down into our body. So finding ways to let the body naturally express the energy the way the body was meant to do. We've kind of been told in our culture not to do this, and we're seeing these practices, these ancient wisdom practices, come back into our culture, which is really nice. So some examples, you can and put on if you're someone who feels comfortable dancing. You could take a 10-minute walk after you have time online with clients, or after you have a meeting, or after you take your kids to school, right? You could stretch or do chair yoga, right? Just some stretching in the chair. You know, those. You could build in a 5-minute break throughout the day where you stop and put it on your calendar, or put it on your phone as an alarm to do 5 minutes of stretching, right? I've talked to lots of my pineapple clients about how in the field that you're in, you're often receiving a lot of trauma, right? When we work in the sex field, there's a lot of trauma content that comes up, and that's often being offloaded on people that work in this field. And you're not given a lot of resources on how to offload that, right? When we work in therapy, we talk a lot about how do I shake off the trauma from the day that I've been receiving. And when you're working in this field, it would be the same. People are sharing things they haven't shared with anyone else, or they're working through trauma, even if they're not saying it specifically. That energy is there. And so how do you move that at the end of your day? How do you let go of that? I have some clients that like to take a hot shower with like a shower steamer and literally wash it off. Some people like to shake it off. Some people like to do boxing, but having some practice where I let go of that at the end of my day. I think that can be really important. Another area that would be passionate about trauma-informed yoga. I've gotten trained in that, and I offer that to a lot of my clients, those who want it. Today, you can find a lot of trauma-informed yoga online. You don't even have to go to a studio, and I've included tons of places where you can do online yoga. You can do it on your own, like recorded videos, or you can actually do it live. There's lots of donation-based 6 or 8 week yoga programs that you can do specifically for trauma survivors. Offers the mindfulness, the breath, the meditation, and the movement, but from a lens of understanding how trauma impacts us. So it's very invitational. It's usually very slow. It's focused on allowing the person who's doing it to choose what they want to do. What we see in the West is a lot of cultural appropriation of yoga, meaning we've taken this one little part of yoga, the poses, and we've glamorized it with these outfits and these studios. That's beyond almost 10,000 years. And it's really about a way of life. It's about how you breathe, the do's and don'ts, and your values for living. It's about concentration and mindfulness, but you don't have to be flexible for trauma-informed yoga. You don't have to be anything. You can show up just as you are. And it's about learning to choose what feels safe for your body. So I really love trauma-informed yoga. I'll show you one that we can do here. But remember, when we're doing trauma-informed yoga, it's not about the pose. So if you can't do your arms like that, nobody cares. It's not about that. Some people may just do this. It may just be this, if you want to do it like that. And it may be, you know, different depending on the day or the moment. So it's not about the pose. It's not about achieving that. It's about choosing what does your body need right now and what feels safe in your body. So if you'd like to do it, you can find a seat that's most comfortable right now. You don't have to sit like that. I was probably all stretched out, but you can just sit on the floor. You can just sit in your chair. You don't have to do anything special with your legs. And if you like, you can take right arm first and left arm underneath, wherever feels good. So however far you want to go for your body. And then you can lift the elbows parallel to the floor. And just taking some breaths here. You can even do some circles if that feels good. And just noticing what you notice. Eagle arms is great for concentration. Great when you're having lots of emotions running through your body, or a lot of thoughts through your mind. And then you can slowly unwind. This would be a good one to do if you're trying to solve a problem. You're just feeling a lot of racing thoughts or ruminating thoughts. We could try the other side. So we'll do left arm, just fold under. And this arm might be different than the other arm. That's okay. You can raise your elbows a little bit higher so they're parallel to the floor. And then if you'd like to do some small circles. Also a nice stretch for the back. Just taking a few breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly unwinding. And then again, this is the intuitive movement part. So anything your body would like to do after that, allowing the body to access its wisdom. So we can see some of the benefits of trauma-informed yoga. It can increase GABA levels, which is what helps us feel relaxed and calm, can help us attune to our body and learn to listen. I have 3 pages of benefits, but I only gave you a few here. Appreciation of your body. So people who have been experienced abuse often feel disconnected from their body because that's the way they stayed safe. And so this is like a reconnecting to the body, learning to listen and honor the body. Right? Willingness to notice body sensations. So lots of benefits. Practice, it absolutely transformed my life. When I first learned gratitude, I thought it just meant you just say what you're grateful for. But I've learned over the years that gratitude is a practice. It's about embodying the experience of being grateful, not just saying I'm grateful. So I really love gratitude. I think it's been one of the most transformational practices in my life. I love this quote: gratitude as an action. Feeling grateful and not expressing it is like writing about gratitude as an action. Some of the benefits of gratitude, we have lots of research on this as well. Studies indicate that a conscious focus on gratitude may have an emotional and interpersonal benefits. There's a particular modality of therapy called positive psychology that uses a lot of gratitude and has shown that with gratitude, a daily gratitude practice, there's lowered rates of depression, improved sleep. I know a lot of people struggling with sleep right now. I think the events right now, sleep is usually one of the first things that we see with stress. Less symptoms of illness and decreased stress. Right? So cultivating gratitude practice is something that requires intentional practice. It's just like learning. All of this is like learning an instrument or learning a new language. We have to practice it every day the same way we would if we wanted to learn to play guitar or we wanted to learn French. You can start by, what is the state of mind when you wake up most days? So when you lay there and you first wake up before you even open your eyes, are you in a state of gratitude, or are you running through a list of stressors in your life? Are you playing out the things you don't want to do for the day? Are you dreading your experience? Right? So just first noticing, what is my state when I first wake up? And then seeing if you can cultivate some gratitude before you even open your eyes. So some days it may take 20 minutes. And if you're in a place in life where you're not feeling very grateful, like maybe you feel very hopeless or depressed, it can be something simple like, today I'm grateful that I can see out of my eyes. Or today I'm grateful that I was able to sleep on a mattress. Right? So finding something, sometimes we have to start with those. Today I'm grateful that I have running water, if you're in a place that has that. And just be appreciative before you even open your eyes for the day, and see if it changes the way that your day plays out. It's a really cool practice if you try it. All right, here's some other ways. I can't really go through all of them and explain them, but they are on my website. There's, I think, 16 different ways to practice gratitude on my website, and I'll give you that link. So if you're interested in doing daily gratitude, you can go on my website. It's free, and you can read through the different practices and see if there's one that fits when you modify. Again, you can do it any way you want. It doesn't have to be the way I listed it, but I'll show you some here. This is actually the website. My website is on the bottom, rootsrise.com. So there's gratitude with the senses, where you smell. You describe 5 smells that you feel grateful for. You describe 5 tastes That one's really fun. People describe tastes. I do that with clients a lot. There's random person that have made an impact. Maybe it was like someone that walked by and smiled on a day that you were having a really hard day and you don't even know their name. Maybe it's a bus driver you had when you were a kid that, you know, was kind when you had a hard childhood. And going through and kind of writing out random people. I like that one. Self-love gratitude is a little bit harder. If you're struggling with self-love, this may not be a good place to start, but maybe trying some of the other ones first. If you find it's great. So you can kind of go through my website and see if there's one that might work for you. And again, my goal today is if you take one practice, so one thing from today that you might want to start trying, I think that would be really cool. Or if you take one thing and then go look it up and find a way to do it better for you, would be great. So the last thing I'm going to offer is a gratitude body scan. It's a guided meditation. Again, it's optional. Of course, you don't have to participate. I don't know if you're participating. Just want to listen, or you may just kind of want to zone out and do your own thing if you're just not feeling in that mood today, or if meditation triggers you, that's okay. If you want to do it, your eyes can be open or closed, or you could just do like a soft gaze, like staring at something. You can lie down, you can sit in a chair. There's no wrong or right way to do it. It is about 7 to 10 minutes, which I know can be kind of long if you're not familiar with meditation. So if you get a few minutes in and then you're like, no, I don't want to, you can just come on in that you can look at if you're not feeling the meditation. Okay, so we begin, and then I think we should have about 5 minutes left for questions afterwards if anyone has any questions. Here's a picture. This is a amazing shot I just accidentally got when I was in I think I was in Monterey, California. And I just happened to hit it at the right second. So you can look at the picture if you don't want to do the meditation that I wrote. So I'm going to read off the stuff. So if you'd like, you can find a position that's most comfortable for your body. I know often people have chronic pain. There's not a comfortable position, but there might be a most comfortable position right now. So whatever's most comfortable in this moment, whether it's lying down or sitting down or cross-legged, whatever you'd like, taking a moment to get there. And I invite you to begin by bringing your attention into your body. Eyes, if that's comfortable to you, or choose to keep them open. So we're making the intentional choice to turn our awareness inward into the body, right? Making a U-turn, Y-O-U turn into the body. I invite you to notice your body seated wherever you are seated. Feeling the weight of your body on the chair or on the floor. And maybe here you'd like to take a few deeper breaths. You can use that mantra we used this morning. As I breathe in, I notice out, I notice I'm breathing out. And seeing if you can bring the air into the belly. For a nice deep breath. And as you take a deep breath, invitation to bring in more oxygen, livening the body. And offering a moment of gratitude for the oxygen as you take it in. Knowing that this is what gives us life. Today, all of us here in this moment have the opportunity to breathe. And as you breathe in, invitation to notice you are breathing in. As you breathe out, invitation to notice you're breathing out. On your next exhale, you may notice a sense of relaxing more deeply. If at any time this breathing becomes uncomfortable, you may choose to maybe here you begin to notice your feet on the floor, noticing the sensation of your feet touching the earth, feeling supported. Note the weight and the pressure, vibration and the heat. Taking a moment to offer gratitude for this part of the body. All that our feet do throughout the day to support us. I invite you to notice your legs, noticing if there's any pressure, pulsing, heaviness, lightness, and inviting breath into the legs. When you're ready, taking a moment to offer gratitude to this part of throughout the day. If there's a part of the body that carries pain or has not been working, maybe offering a little extra gratitude to that part as we move through. On your next inhale, noticing your back against the chair or the surface beneath you, becoming aware of any sensations you may experience here. Noticing if your stomach is tense or tight, and maybe giving permission to soften the stomach, soft belly. Often this part of the body can bring up judgment or criticism. So if you're noticing that coming through, just seeing if you can, again, imagine that judgment or thought on a cloud and allowing it to float by. This part of the body, honoring all that the stomach and back do throughout the day, helping us digest food and bring nutrients into our body. When you're ready, taking a breath and feeling the body continue to soften. I invite you to move your awareness to your hands, noticing if your hands are tense or tight. Into this part of the body. I invite you to notice your arms, feeling any sensation in the arms. Is it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? If you like, letting your shoulders be soft, bringing the breath to this part of the body. Inviting the shoulders, honoring all that these parts do throughout the day. Our hands, which allow us to hold our loved ones, to write. On your next inhale, you may want to begin to notice your neck and your throat. I invite you to allow the throat to be soft and full of ease. Allow your jaw to soften and the space between your eyebrows. Maybe allowing your cheek muscles to soften. I invite you to allow all of your facial muscles to become soft and begin to notice your whole body present in this moment. Invitation to offer a moment of gratitude for your face and your whole body, honoring how your body serves you throughout the day. Judgments arising, just know that that's normal. Often if we're not feeling very connected to our body, the idea of honoring our body could bring up judgments, and that's okay. Taking one more breath here, expanding the exhale. Be aware of your whole body as best as you can, allowing judgments to float down like leaves on a river. Just be. There's nowhere to go and nothing to do, and you can't do it wrong. Remembering that you can always come back to this place if it feels pleasant to you. When you're ready, beginning to bring some small movement back into your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Taking as your eyes are closed, slowly blinking your eyes open. Allowing yourself to tune back to the space that you're in. Bringing your full focus back to the screen. If you participated, thank you. And for those of you who chose not to participate, thank you. So this is kind of a shortened version because meditation can take some practice and it can be very uncomfortable when you're first doing it. I know for me, in the beginning, like 1 or 2 minutes was annoying. so if that was annoying to you, that's okay. It takes some practice. And if you felt uncomfortable or if you just felt like you were judging yourself, that's totally normal. Sometimes emotional releases can come through, laughing or crying, also totally normal too. I get it. But if you liked it, there's plenty of those online. You could do that all the way up to an hour if you're, an experienced meditator. For me, 7 to 10 minutes is pretty good. But that was an example of a body scan with some gratitude involved as well. So we'll take some time to answer questions. If there's no questions or comments, I'll show you some of the resources here. I'll just go through them real quick. There's some hotlines, and again, these are available to you if you want the slides. There's a bunch of different hotlines and recovery support groups. Made Simple, I really like. This is one of my mentors. She's written several books. She's incredible. She shares about her own trauma as well, and she's also a licensed psychotherapist. But she made little videos that 2 to 5 minutes. Some of the tools that I shared today, plus all of her own tools, and they're free for the world. You can go on there once a day and click on one. There's some other yoga resources. And then these are some trauma-informed yoga groups that are on. She has an 8-week healing yoga for trauma survivors. I believe it's donation-based, or there's options for donation. Most of these have donation-based options. And yeah, and then there's my contact. So if you need any additional resources or had questions about something today, or just looking to get some additional support for something, give me a call. I can help you with resources or any questions that you have. And we still have some time left. So if anybody has any questions or comments or wants to share anything about their experience with the meditation or any of the practices, I'll open it up. You can use the chat. Slides. Yeah, I sent the slides to Leah, are you there? Did you get the slides, or how can they get the slides from you? Okay, are you going to send them out? Okay, how about this? If you don't get this slideshow, just shoot me an email and I will send it to you. But I did send it to Pineapple, so hopefully they can send it out to anyone that wants it. But if for some reason you don't get it, just send me an email, or you can shoot me a text with your email. Okay, please email contact@pineapplesupport.org, and I can email or text me and shoot me your email. Just say, Pineapple, I need the slideshow, and I'll send it to you. Anybody else have any questions or any comments? Thank you. Thank you. I feel so grateful to be here. This is my favorite thing to do, is just share what I've learned in my journey with other people and offer hopefully something that helps throughout your day. Truly grateful to be here. Thank you. You all are so kind. Okay, if there's no questions, I'll get you out of here a few minutes early. And again, please reach out if you need anything. I'm here for you. It's been a rough few years and need each other. So I'm here. I'm here for you. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.